Well, good morning everybody and happy new year. Welcome back to the channel. My first fishing trip of the new year 2023 sees me down at Abbotsbury. A rare break in the weather here. Predominantly, as you're probably aware, loads of southwesterly winds constantly blowing in, making fishing very difficult conditions wise. But winds have swung northerly today. It's Tuesday the 17th of January and I've driven down from Chesil. Quite a tortuous drive in the freezing conditions to fish here near the Dragon's Teeth. So just arrived. First rods are out. It's quarter to 12 and I've got a bite on the first the rod here on the right hand side, the one in the middle really. Looks like little whiting bites and stuff like that. So got squid and lug pulley pennel on a size 2.0, and then on the right hand rod I got a bluey and squid on a 3.0. The plan is just to chuck that out and leave it out there, and then depending on how things go, fish two other rods, maybe one short, one close, just to see what's about. High tide is 2 o'clock, so I'm going to fish the tide up for about 2.5 hours, and then fish into darkness probably for a couple of hours before making our way home tonight. Just want to say, while I've been absent from YouTube, thank you for those who've been subscribing. I've gone over 500 subscribers, so really appreciate that. And now that hopefully there might be some breaks in the weather, I can get out a bit more often. So anyway, it's good to be back, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video here, and might be able to even show you a fish or two after the last couple of blanks that I had before Christmas. It's a good sign. I've got 3 rods out, and basically it's take your pick. Which rod do I want to have a look at, because bites on all 3 rods. Only little taps and things, so probably little pouting, little whiting. But that's a good sign, as I said at the start. So there's plenty of colour in the water today. No real swell as such, though the sea has flattened right off after all those big winds. So I'm just going to have a look at this. Left-hand rod. It's the lighter outfit, so the bites tend to be a little bit more exaggerated on that one. Hopefully you can see that tapping away there. And there we go. Foul look whiting on the top and a whiting on the bottom, so plenty of fish out here, which is good to see. So they're not big whiting. That's the one on the bottom. He took squid, and the foul hooked whiting, well, he was after the lug one. Just take him off. I'll get him back in now. So here was the other rod that I had a bite on first cast. That had a small whiting on it as well. Taken on lug and squid pulley. Looks like there's plenty of fish in the sea today. So that's 2 casts, 3 fish. Might be a busy one. So which I don't mind, having not caught anything for a long time. So just cast out those 2 left-hand rods again, since having those white in, and the bites are there straight away, basically, which is great. But if there's only white in here, obviously hoping for maybe a early season cod or early January cod, but we'll see on that. It's just nice to be out actually, and it isn't raining, and not stuck at home, so it's great just to be out enjoying a bit of fishing here on the lovely Chesil Beach. Quite a few people fishing, which is always good to see. Everyone spots the break in the weather and they come down. A lot of people down the car park end and fishing down towards Cogden Way. There's 2 or 3 of us up here by the teeth. There's nobody further up towards Portland from me at the moment. So, but it's still relatively early, 12:30. So I'm sure there'll be a few people trying to make the most of today's conditions. Bait today, I've got lugworm, blow lug, squid and bluey. I dropped into Real Fun Fishing at Portishead, so thanks for that. If you like big fish, if you want to have a look at Real Fun Fishing Facebook page, you'll see some fantastic cod and a lovely halibut. I think they said it was 45 kilos taken off the shore by one of their staff members. So Real Fun Fishing Facebook page, have a look at that. Some great fish from Norway. Right, I'm just going to have a look at this left-hand rod. There's always a temptation just to strike it and wind it in, but I don't know, I quite like to, when I'm holding the rod, I quite like to feel the fish tap again a couple of times before I actually commit to making a strike. And if I don't, then I'll put the rod back on the rest. So on the left-hand rod I'm fishing a 2-hook rig, clipped rig, but 1 hook is below the weight, 1 hook is above, and I'll show you that rig later on. One thing I would say, if you're coming down to Abbotsbury or any of the places really where you're going on the back roads, B roads, be really careful in this cold weather. Had a pretty bad journey coming down, about 4 hours, primarily because I stopped a couple of times, but also saw a couple of nasty accidents on the ice. A lot of frozen water, particularly on these little B roads in Dorset. If you're scuttling through, coming off A roads or cutting across, please just be really careful when it's frozen. There's some nasty stretches of road this morning, and too many people have had bad days already. Well, it's pretty much non-stop action. Here's a bed of whiting. Had about 6 whiting in the first 5 casts. Whoops. This one's about I'd say 15 inches. Probably not a pound, maybe 3/4 of a pound, but pretty much bites all the time, so great fishing. Well, it's high tide now, almost 2 o'clock, and basically it's whiting, 1 a chuck, really. They're not fussy, they're taking bluey, big bluey baits, squid on its own, rag, lug tipped with squid. They're not fussy. So good sport, but hopefully there's something a little bit different here. Hopefully you can hear me above the wind. The wind's picked up a bit, blowing over, so apologies if the sound is not so good, but fingers crossed that you can hear me okay. There's a good slackline bite there. Oh, just another whiting. Oh no, a little bass, look at that. Oh, brilliant. Ha! Well, would you believe it? A tiny, tiny little bass. Oh, beautiful. Foul hooked. Oh well. Well, I'm so chuffed with that. It's the first bass I've had for a long time. Let's get him unhooked and put back in. Well, that was an unexpected bonus there. Little bass. Put him back, swam off great. Pretty non-stop action since I came at 11:30. It's about 2:30, so plenty of whiting and a bass, so that's great. I'm gonna have to apologise for some of the footage because my battery just died on one of the shots I took, so I've got a problem with that battery. It gets to about 50% and it turns itself off in cold weather. And now I've managed to lock my GoPro on my head mount and in a floppy position. So it's neither locked or unlocked. I can't get it off. I haven't got a suitable screwdriver to try and get it off. The ones I've got won't work or fit. So I've had to tape my GoPro solid onto my head mount. So hopefully the footage will keep to come out. Apologies if it's a bit rough. But anyway, let's keep going. Yep. Little tiny one. So the sort of typical, this is actually a bit of a smaller one than normal. So he's about 11 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches say. So yeah, quite numerous. So on the 2-hook rig I'm using, I've got a hook length that's basically below the weight. And that's on basically a sliding ledger, as it were. So I've got my swivel and link onto my clip, just sliding above the weight, above the sort of the swivel there, down to the snood and hook. And then I go up, and I've got a little genie clip in the rig that I basically clip up and over. This is going to be difficult. So I clip up and over. Sorry about that. You clip up and over. Bit like a pulley. And then on the top snood, which is on the above the genie clip, I've got a couple of springs trapped between 2 stop knots basically, and the snood comes down and clips basically into a little swivel there, a cascade swivel, such that when it's clipped up it forms a nice clipped rig. I haven't explained that very well because my GoPro's a bit broken, the mount's a bit broken, so I'll try and maybe do that again another time, or maybe later on this afternoon. But here's a bed of whiting, probably about £1, I'd say. He's 36 centimetres, and he's just hooked on the top circle hook. So I'm just going to get him back, so hopefully he can swim off. I've given up trying to film off the top of my head because of the angles all wrong with me botched up mount now. Let's just get him in. Hopefully he's okay. Lovely sunset coming up, I think. Bit of cloud there. Beautiful end of the day, as it generally is at Chesil. Just whiting and that one bass, but that certainly was the biggest whiting that I've had today. You can see how big the storms have been recently. I'm at the top of the bank. Over there you've got the end of the Dragon's Teeth basically at the top of the bank, and you can see some of the tide lines and all the weed and plastic and rubbish. Absolutely hundreds of cuttlefish shells. So really been some rough weather here in the last few weeks. Beautiful day. Things are quieting down a little bit actually now. I've got a very big bait, half a whiting in the gutter, just to see if there's anything wandering around in there. But haven't got the sort of ferocity of bites and the frequency of bites that we were having before on the flood. But I think trying to fish 3 rods not particularly a good idea, so I just fish in 2, and then when I'm about to bring one in, I cast another out, so that there's typically just 2 in the water. Well, something took a fancy to this whiting. Bit and clean off. Felt like there was something there coming in, but didn't feel, big. But yeah, oh well. That's probably whiting is probably 12-13 inches, or was. Well, here's something a little bit different. Fattish pout, first one of the day. Got about 20 whiting, 1 bass, and now a pouting. Let's get him unhooked and put back in. Glorious end to the day here. Let's have us full. Just had something bite through 60-pound mono on a trace. Glorious end to the day. Well, here's the 4 species of a day. I don't mind when it's a doggy today. Had a nice fight from him. Thought it might have been a cod, but there we go. It's about 5:15, so he was taken on lug and squid pulley pennel. Let's get him unhooked and put him back. Here's a wire trace I put out with half a whiting, and something's had a real good tangle with it. I was getting tiny little knocks. Oh well, let's untangle it and put it out again. Well, it's almost 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm not going to leave it too too late to fish tonight because of the condition of the roads with the ice, so I want to get back to Chepstow in one piece. So just to say thank you for watching. It's been a really good, enjoyable day. A couple of dogfish, a few pouting, over 20 whiting, and a nice little bass I had. So sorry about the problems with my GoPro. I'll have to try and get that fixed with the mounting, so some of the shots are probably a bit not so good. So thanks again for everybody who likes and subscribes. So gone past the 500 subscribers, so thank you for that. And well, certainly the beach is fishing well, so if you get the opportunity, come down and give it a go. And I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Take care everyone, be safe, and see you all again soon. Bye now.